My name's Angela Enyart. I'm 28 years old. Before Pathways, I was doing anything I could to have enough to eat. I was, struggling to find anything. I didn't really have anywhere to stay for a long time. But then I started cleaning, which is something I had done as a teenager, and slower paced. It feels good to work with your hands and to feel like you got something done. So Pathways was a welcome change. The Oregon Forward program and Pathways have given me enough stability that I'm at a spot in my life where I can purchase my first home. I'm gonna have a stable job and a stable home life. It means everything.
Pathway Enterprises has provided support services for people with disabilities since 1985. In that very short timeline, we have grown from just serving in Jackson County to now in 4 counties and providing employment, housing, education, and behavioral support. Ensuring that people feel valued is a critical piece to a person's entire life. And without employment, and without housing and without the support they need in order to live their best lives, they will not be able to do that. So our job is to help people live their best lives. And in order to do that, we take an approach of, we're gonna teach you and then we're gonna step back, and you will live your life the way you wanna live it, and we're there to support you. These are people who typically do not have access to employment. They have barriers to their employment.
You can figure out what that person's talents are, what they're capable of contributing, and then put them in that position where they truly shine. And I think that's where most employers don't take the time and the effort or understand how to do that. And we do that. We do it every day, whatever situation they need to work within, whether that's reduced number of days, whether that's sometimes they'll have a panic attack on the job and need to leave, whether that's nobody understands their life choices or their disability and wants to work with them or take the chance on them. These disenfranchised people who can find a job that will pay you a living wage, that will give you health insurance, that will provide you with benefits, give you paid time off, work within a team that respects you, work within a company that cares about you.
They are able to find their worth, their value. They are able to live their lives without the worry of not having a job.
Pathway Enterprises is an Oregon Forward participant. This means that we contract with the state and local governments to provide services. The Oregon Forward program was created through the state of Oregon statutes and is specifically designed to set aside work for nonprofit employment programs for folks with disabilities. Pathway's relationship with the Oregon Forward program is we are one of their network providers in providing services in 4 separate counties. And it is important that our politicians and our voters, anybody in the state of Oregon, is aware of this huge impact that this program makes on people's lives.
My name is Gail Burhamy. I work with Pathways Enterprises, and I'm a custodian. I've been with Pathways for 12 years.
My name is Cindy Piper, and I work at HHS as the custodian.
My name's Nicholas Clark, and my job is day porter at HHS. I love my job. I'm just living my best life.
I worked on many jobs. Cleaning, I did motels, and I cleaned at the hospital. And then that's when I got hurt and got a really bad injury. I got brain damage. I had 5 years of physical therapy to learn how to redo everything again. So I got better, and then I tried to put in applications. When you have to provide for 3 kids and keep them in school, and you're all by yourself, and there's nobody will hire you.
Growing up, I was a little slow in school. By the time I graduated, my equilibrium got off. in my ears. I was having difficulty. So I went to an ENT, and he tested me and said I have severe nerve damage in my ears. I was going into college and I knew I was going to need to have hearing aids. I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to start learning some sign language.
Well, I hadn't had a job for a little over 4 years. I had a hard time finding employment. Well, partly because of discrimination. Some people, they look at deaf people and they feel like it's going to be hard to communicate with you. It's just really unfortunate. I used to work at a mill. It was just so hard to communicate. I mean, I never had an interpreter. I would just have to use my phone and we would just have to text back and forth. I had another job washing dishes at a nursing home. But the only interpreter I had in that position was my adopted father. Just not best practices to have someone who's related to you be interpreting for you. Yeah, most of the time I would just go and do my work and just kind of be by myself. There was no communication with anyone else in the company, so I would just try to focus on my work, and it was really boring. I mean, it was just the same thing over and over again, and it was like a cycle of getting laid off and then trying to get back on again, so I didn't have a steady income.
By the time I almost hit 37, finished, full deaf, I started isolating myself a lot. I just really became just quiet, going to family gatherings, no one signing. And I became really jealous of that, hearing world, you know. So back in 2008, I ruptured a disc in my lower back. And I was off work for so long, they wouldn't take me back. I tried going to college. I got a certificate. Who's gonna hire me? I gave up. Again, I'm isolated.
Looking at the community, if there's a boss looking to hire, and they have 2 applicants, one's deaf and one's hearing, they both have equivalent skills, they're probably gonna just take the easier way out and hire the hearing person. I mean, I don't want the added expense of hiring an interpreter.
You find one company that had some faith in me. Pathways was a savior. They helped me.
Went on Social Security, spent time with my kids, and we're talking for almost 15 years before I got hired with Pathways. I'm getting emotional, but I feel really blessed with my job. I'm able to leave my home and go to work and just be so happy because my crew, they're amazing. They're all deaf and we just understand each other. I don't feel left out at all. And that's the best 4 hours a day that I get every day.
When Pathways came around, they provided me with a job and they supported me after my head injury. They're a great company.
And when I first started working at Pathway, it was a huge change. I really became happier. I started as a janitor. And then I advanced. I got promoted to floor specialist. And I started doing work resurfacing floors. I mean, it was really happy for me, and a happy time for me. It was hard work. And then I got the opportunity to become a supervisor. And it was a lot of work and tremendous responsibility. But you know, that helped me really keep my enthusiasm up. I just loved working. Then my son was born. So I had to ask Pathway to reduce my hours so that I could take care of my kids. And Pathway was able to give me what I wanted because Pathway has given me access to services we really need because of our disability. As a deaf person, we need an interpreter, and Pathway will provide interpreters. If we needed some kind of other support, if we needed a hearing aid, Pathway has really helped us, facilitated that. And I just really think Pathway has been wonderful.
Well, with Pathways, I feel accepted. Back then, with my old employer, I had to work hard to be accepted. I'm real with Pathways, with my team. And I love it. I just feel so, not stressed at all going in.
I think Pathways is a caring company. They care about their people, and they're family-oriented. You make such good friends here that they're like your family.
Pathway has become like a second family to me. It's kind of surprising to see people work together like that. And it means an awful lot to me. It feels like people at Pathways take the time to understand the people around them. They're gonna look at you like a person. They're not gonna look at you like, oh, I can find somebody tomorrow, fill that spot. They made sure to put me in a spot where my customers can even appreciate what's been going on.
The staff I work with, they're really engaging, and not to mention fun. Sometimes we give each other a hard time. We pick on each other, and I've had a really good time working with the staff here.
The Oregon Forward program allows Pathway to contract with entities, other businesses. We're able to ensure that people who do fall through the cracks have an opportunity to work.
Pathway Enterprises is one of many nonprofits operating within the Oregon Forward program. The Oregon Forward program was statutorily created through legislation in order to set aside work for nonprofit employment agencies who are providing specific job training to people with disabilities. Procurement individuals who need those services then look at the Department of Administrative Services website to see who provides those services. The government basically is paying for a fair market service. There's no other funding attached to the program.
Anything that would be a barrier to work, Oregon Forward will help with that. We literally went from workshops, sheltered workshops, to now Oregon state governmental agencies saying, you know what, we see value and we have an opportunity to employ these individuals.
Oregon Forward is a win for the individuals who are employed through the program. It's a win for the organizations that hire our people with whom we have contracts because they get a valuable service for a competitive rate. And I think it's a win for our community because now people are employed, they'll need less tax paid support, and they get to see folks in action out there who have disabilities, and that just might change their mind about the value that they bring to the community.
Some people wonder, what is the cost of the Oregon Forward program? And really, it's the same cost it would be buying services from anybody else. There's no funding involved. The government facility is just paying for a service that they would have paid anyway. It costs no extra taxpayer dollars. It's probably one of the most beneficial social programs that the state of Oregon has. I do worry that people look at it as an antiquated program, and they're looking at it saying, oh, this is something that was made back when institutions needed to be emptied. What do we need Oregon Forward now for? The thing is there is this huge population of people who are being supported by it. It's not the people who are in institutions anymore. It's the people who are homeless now. They have nowhere. They don't even have an institution to live in. These are people who are on the brink, and whether they get served in a jail or whether they get served in a homeless shelter, it makes a whole lot more sense if we keep this program around so that they can have their own job, pay their own taxes, and not end up in any of those services. You're talking about people who have fallen through the cracks. Nothing about them has got them into formal services, but it has certainly impacted their ability to thrive and live in our community. And these are the folks that I have the great pleasure of being able to try to create opportunities for
I think if we lost Oregon Forward, it would be really detrimental to our programs and to the employees who work for us to do this important work.
We're finally at a place where those barriers of, sheltered workshops, institutionalized care, I feel like that divide it's definitely disappearing. And I think it would be so many steps back as it relates to understanding that it's a basic human right to have, independence and, supports at work, job placement in the event that you need it.
If the Oregon Forward program continues to get exemptions from different government entities that limit the growth of the program, or if the program is rescinded and eliminated, then the impact would be pretty catastrophic on people with disabilities. In fact, you would probably see a spike in the increase in homelessness. You would have people who need more support from food banks. You would see additional resources being pulled out of state. It would be a calamity.
That kind of impact would hit us really hard. All of the people that have disabilities, we would lose so much. I feel like we would have no support and, no one around, stay home isolated maybe, and just live in depression.
Because there's a lot of us that need this job. Not a lot of jobs will hire people with disabilities.
If it weren't for this job, which I see myself holding for the foreseeable future, I couldn't even imagine the possibility of buying a home, of doing all the things I want to do. I need the accommodation, but I need the job just as much.
I feel like I'm an independent, strong woman now. I've got a job. I am my sole provider of my kids and my grandbabies, which I have 6 of them. So proud. I don't have to worry about anything.
So I really depend on this program to get me through every day and just be happy. And I'm finally happy. I really appreciate, I love the teamwork where I'm at. I can go in to work independently, but then if I get stuck, if there's a problem, I can message my lead or another coworker, and they're right there to help me. That's the other thing, I'm not afraid to ask for help when I'm there. I just love my job, and I'm so appreciative, and I'm so thankful.
It's really crucial that we maintain this program, that we protect this program, and even to expand this program so that the program continues to help and do the good work that it was meant to do.
People with disabilities are able to work. People with disabilities need work in order to do all the things that the rest of us do. We want to have a home, we want to have a car, we want to be able to go to the movies and buy a pizza every Friday night. We want to support our children. We want to have access to medical care. Pathway Enterprises is the heart and soul of how I want the world to feel about people with disabilities. And it's incredibly important that people, especially decision makers, have the opportunity to understand what it means for people with disabilities to not have choice in their life. The reality of what has happened here, the reality of Pathway being as important as it is to people with disabilities and their families. It's incredible the impact that appropriate services, access to services, all of that has on people with disabilities. I'm just very grateful and very humbled to have this job, to be able to encourage and guide people through this amazing work.
To learn more about the Oregon Forward program or Pathway Enterprises, click on the link below.
Pathway Enterprises and the Oregon Forward program have really helped me and those of us with disabilities to achieve a better life and to earn a better living. Like we need. This program has helped us to stay busy, be productive, and active so we could become more healthy. And in our lives, have meaningful work. And all of the support that we get it really impacts our life. It makes it so much better.